going on, Slickheads? Today we got another balance patch, and just from what I've seen already, people are saying it's kind of mid, but we're gonna give I'm gonna give my opinion and determine for myself if it's actually mid, and we'll go through all of the skills and see which ones are good, who got buffed, who got nerfed, who questionably got buffed, and who questionably got nerfed. So let's get into it. Going down here, let's see just real quick, how big is this? Decent size, nothing too crazy, right? We've seen bigger balance patches in the past. But all right, let's start this off here. We got the Light Vampire, Noble Agreement, the passive ability. No, second ability, right? That's second ability, not passive. Yeah, second ability. As is, it stuns for 1 turn if the attack lands as a critical hit, and now it stuns for 1 turn with a 50% chance without any condition. Okay, so this ability attacks twice, so it's actually more than a 50% chance to land, and I would say that's a buff because, you know, now you don't have to worry about critting, and certain units you can't crit against. So those units you can't crit against, now you can stun them with that second ability. So I'd say that's a little bit of a buff. Nothing like too crazy, I don't think. I don't know. You guys can prove me wrong in the comments, but I don't think that's a nerf. I believe that's a buff. Okay, next we got the Dark Oracle. Critical error. The stun chance is now 85% instead of 100%. Okay, so Dark Oracle gets a nerf. As is, removes all beneficial effects from all enemies, and the enemies with beneficial effects removed are guaranteed to be stunned for 1 turn, and is now removes all beneficial effects from all enemies. The enemies with no beneficial effects are stunned for 1 turn with an 85% chance, and the enemies with beneficial effects removed are guaranteed to be stunned for 1 turn. Okay, so the guaranteed to be stunned is still there once removing beneficial effects. But now there is a slight chance that she won't be stunning if you don't have any beneficial effects. So yeah, that's a little bit of a nerf. I mean, it's nothing crazy. Personally, I think it's deserved. I mean, I don't have one, so I know if you guys have it, you're probably like, oh, fuck you. That's my Light Dark Nat 5, don't touch it. But yeah, she's been pretty overpowered for a long time, so it's not like a crazy nerf. It's just a little... gives us a chance, you know? Come on. We don't all have the Dark Oracle, okay? All right, up next we got the Dark Asura, God of Wrath passive. As is, if your HP is 50% or above when you gain a turn, you go under the threat state. Is now if your HP is 70% or above when you gain a turn, you go under the threat state. Okay, so I believe that's a nerf as well. Is that also a nerf? I feel like these first 3 are all... can be questionably seen as nerfs. I believe, yeah, that's got to be a nerf, right? Because now you need 70% HP to get that threat, and the threat is pretty important because you want people to attack him. If he gets attacked, he counterattacks. So yeah, you can hit him with a Mo Long, and he won't be getting that threat. Just a little example of something you can do against them, I guess. But yeah. So 3 Light Dark units already getting nerfs. All right. And then up next we got all the Puppeteers. Horse Rider Puppet, which is the first ability. Recovery amount is 50%, is now 10%. All right. That one is definitely a nerf. That is a 5% decrease on the healing. So definite nerf for the Puppeteer. Unlucky. Yeah, let's see what's next here. We got the Fire Puppeteer, Cycle of Eternity, effect added. Okay, so this one got buffed. It got the nerf with the first ability, but this one at least got buffed on its, I believe, third ability. Grant silence for 2 turns to the targeted enemy. Okay, so targeted enemy, I believe this is an AoE ability, but the one that you click on will now get silence for 2 turns, is what that means. So... pretty nice buff there to the Fire Puppeteer. From my knowledge, I believe that's the weakest one. So maybe not the weakest one anymore. All right, and then up next, we got Megumi. Oh, man. Okay, we got the Megumis, the Yujis, the Naboras. I'm going to be honest. I mean, I know I did a video on a couple of these, but for the most part, I don't know these units too well yet. I haven't really played around with them too much. I've been kind of waiting for the buffs to happen, and then I was going to play with them. And here they are. They got buffs. And as you can see, everything says effect added here. So we just know it's buffed. I'm not going to go through these just simply because I can't remember exactly what their skills do and which ones are which. So, you know, I'll do videos in the future of these. You guys will probably see other people's reactions to this update. I don't know. I'm just gonna skip these, and we're gonna go down to the ones that I actually know their abilities. And like I said, we'll do some reviews of these units later on after the balance patch actually drops here. All right. So up next we got the Fire, Wind, and Dark Pioneer. North Star's Wisdom. It's the second ability. Attacks 2 times. As is, this attack won't land as a glancing hit, and as now this attack will always land as a critical hit. That's pretty significant. I would say that's a somewhat significant buff for them. They're HP type units, so they're not really built for damage, but like just being able to crit things is huge. It's just more damage, right? You know you're going to get the crit. You don't have to build into crit rate. Yeah, so pretty nice buff there. And then we have the Water Dakabi Lord Giant's Bat, third ability. As is, recovers your HP by 30%, and to be, recovers HP of all allies by 20%. Ooh. Okay. Okay, so now it's more of like a support unit. Heals the entire team. It's, what happens? He, like, gets big, hits the whole enemy team, potentially stuns them. I can't remember if he steals any attack bar or not. But now he heals the whole team. He's a support tanky unit, which is pretty nice. I'll probably use him some more now. Up next, we got the Light Valkyrie. Oh, great. For TOA, this is going to be great, isn't it? God's Shield passive. Effect added. When allies are hit by a non-critical attack, increases your attack bar by 5% up to 20%. What does that mean? What exactly does that mean? I'm a little bit confused by this. Up to 20%. Does that mean like every time an ally gets attacked, it goes from 5% to then 10%, and then another one gets attacked, 15%, all the way up to 20%, and then does it stay at 20%? You know, how does this work? I have no idea. It's not really... I don't think it's too self-explanatory. Maybe I'm just stupid, but... yeah, I mean, that's a nice little buff to the Light Valkyrie. I think that's one of the Light Dark Nat 5s that deserves a little bit more. Just the only annoying thing is that you have to deal with it in TOA. But I don't think it makes it too much more of a hassle to deal with. It's nothing too insane, just gives it more turns. If you go in there with a Garu, it will never die to it, so not a big deal. But anyway, yeah, nice little buff, I guess, for the Light Valkyrie owners. And up next we got the Water Ryu and Striker. The passive ability will now, when attacked by an enemy, increase your attack power for 1 turn. Okay, just a little bit of something. Nothing too crazy. I think the reason it got this, even though it's a unit that still is picked and used a lot, I think the reason it got this buff is because they took away some of the chance to strip on that second ability. So now it's giving a little bit back to it. It's nothing crazy, like I said, but it can, you know, win you a match. If you need a little bit more damage, he gets attacked, gets that attack buff, and then cleans house or whatever. Maybe people start building them on Vampire and try to solo teams. I don't know. I think I'm going to try that one out for sure. But yeah, not a bad buff. Kind of like that one. And then up next, we got the Dark Dragon Disintegrate. I believe this is the third ability. As is, the attack always lands as a critical hit on light monsters. And now it will recover your turn instantly when you defeat an enemy. Okay, so just making this thing pretty broken. Awesome. Okay, I mean, don't have it. Congratulations to the Dark Dragon owners. I feel like already this balance patch is very specific for a lot of people. Like, if you have any of these specific light dark units, this patch is for you. Yeah, I don't know what the deal is with that, but congratulations for the Dark Dragon owners. Up next, we got the Wind Monkey, Stone Monkey passive. As is, increases your attack bar by 20% whenever attacked under inability effects. And 2B removes one beneficial effect from the enemy when you counterattack with the passive. That's pretty good. That is a buff. Even though it took away the attack bar, being able to strip every time it counterattacks, it now has that chance of stripping a, let's say, like a will rune or a shield rune, or not a rune. There's no shield runes. Well, there is, but it's shield effect. Anyway, it can now strip that and stun, strip will, stun after the will, or just strip any buffs on the enemy team. So that's really significant. I think we're going to be seeing a lot more of the Wind Monkey after that. Might be overlooked a little bit, but I am not overlooking this one. I will be using this one. Okay. Up next, we got the Twin Angels, the Fire, Wind, and Dark. I don't really know these ones too well either, just because they have multiple forms. I haven't used them too much. The only one I have is the Fire one, which I haven't really built yet. Horn of Cheer, I can't even remember which one this is, but I think it's the second ability. Now grants 2 turns of immunity on all allies. So instead of 1 turn, 2 turns is pretty significant. And then we got the light one, Barrage Shot. Removes a beneficial effect with a 50% chance, is now 70% chance. A little buff to that. So yeah, little buffs. Well, I would say pretty significant with the Fire, Wind, and Dark one. The light one, I feel like it's not that much. It's not that crazy, right? But anyway, let's move on. Cannon Girl, Wind. Here we go. Here we go. Come on, make her overpowered. Koi Revenge passive. Effect added. When the passive effect is stacked up to 5 times, removes all harmful effects, excluding inability effects, from yourself at the start of your turn. Yeah, it doesn't make her overpowered. Doesn't do too much. I mean, I get what it's doing, because if you're just making sure she's not getting stunned and will eventually get that turn, I don't know if she gets like attack broken, or I don't know, has dots on her or something, it'll cleanse it when she gets that turn after 5 stacks. But I mean, I don't know about that one. I don't think that's gonna happen too often. Probably shouldn't be happening. But yeah, little something for the Wind Cannon Girl. Still yet to get that. I mean, it's gotten buffed over the years. I think it's in a place where it's got its use in arena offense for like a turn 2 team. But yeah, just a little something, I guess. And then up next we got the Water and Dark Paladin, Fury of Punishment. I believe this is the second ability. Effect added when attacking the enemy without beneficial effects, provokes the enemy for 2 turns. Okay, so I can't remember exactly if this one strips or not. I think it strips, but yeah, now it can also provoke for 2 turns, if I'm remembering correctly. But yeah, not bad. I mean, the Water Paladin's got a lot going on for her. Dark Paladin, I fucking hate. I don't like that unit personally. So I could do without a buff for that one. But yeah, congratulations to the Dark Paladin owners. And let's move on to the Water Devil Maiden. Here's another unit I don't know too much about. Bind Demon Bag. Steals for 1 turn will now be 2, or no, steals 1 will now be 2 beneficial effects from the enemy target. Okay, I don't know if that's a single target ability. I don't know if that's an AoE ability. But 2 beneficial effects it's better than 1, right? 2 is better than 1. So, little buff there. Okay. Up next, we got the Wind and Dark Geralt and Magic Order Guardian. Dancing Star and Star of Explosion. The first attack installs a bomb that detonates after 2 turns with a 70% chance. Will now be 90% chance. So, just a higher percent chance that these bombs actually install. Might as well make it 100. I don't know why it's not bumped up 10%. Maybe it goes up to 100 after skill ups or something. But yeah, you might as well make that one 100%. And then up next, we got the Fire Yennefer and the Light Yennefer. These are 2 units. I'm going to skip these again. I just don't know enough about these units. So yeah, you guys can let me know if these are good buffs or not. I'm just going to skip them for now. Maybe we'll look at them if they are significant in the future. And we'll go down here to the Dark Chakram Dancer, Moonlight Blow, third ability. And the cooldown looks like it got reduced by 1 turn. All right, that's a buff. That is a buff. 1 turn reduction on that cooldown. How significant is that? I don't really know. Was there a need for it? I don't really know. I guess so. Yeah, it's better now, right? It's gonna be available more often. So there you go. And the second ability gives her an additional turn, so it gets that third skill up a lot more frequently. Pretty much like every other turn, it's gonna be up. So yeah, I guess that's why they did that. So it feels like it's up literally all the time. Up next here, we got the Fire and Dark Neostone Fighters. We haven't seen these units in a while. I feel like they've been needing this buff, whatever it's going to be. Relentless Strike, second ability, effect added. The attack won't land as a glancing hit. Okay, we're seeing a lot of these nowadays where it's either not landing as glancing hits or always landing as critical hits. So yeah, little buff to that ability. Very nice. Helps it stay, I think, more in the meta, be more like specifically countering units like things like Kinky or things that like Molly, stuff with passives where it prevents you from critting or makes you glance and stuff like that. So just another niche unit you can use against that, even for like 4-star battles. Very nice. And then Neostone Fighter, Water, Wind, and Light. Also got a buff to Sharp Strike, their second ability. Inflicts continuous damage for 2 turns. Now applies branding for 1 turn. Okay, so is this better? Yeah, I would say this is better because before these units were only somewhat useful for like giants, but now you can't dot the boss, so the continuous damage is pretty much pointless. And at least the branding, you can brand the boss and then nuke on top of it. So yeah, nice little buff to them. And then next we got all the Sylph's Spirit Throw. This is the first ability. As is, increases your critical rate by 30% on your next turn if you land a critical hit, which I always thought was kind of useless. And now it decreases the enemy's attack bar by 30% with a 75% chance. Damn. Okay, that's actually really significant. Especially because you get the Water Sylph now through Summoner's Way. And, you know, he's got... all of his abilities are really good for TOA. He's always used in TOA. And every ability except for his first ability, right? That ability is basically useless. But now it's a very significant first ability for TOA specifically. And even all of them are pretty good in TOA. They all have like AoE abilities. The fire one does dots, reduces, you know, attack bar on the second skill, and now we'll do it also on the first skill. So yeah, I think this buff here, even though it might seem small, is very significant. And I think a lot of newer players are going to enjoy this one. But yeah, nice buff there. All right, up next we got the Asuras. These are units I also don't, you know, I don't have too much knowledge on. I don't use them too much. But we'll look at them real fast. Looks like effects added and values changed on all of them. Okay, the water one, constant training passive, always attacks with the advantageous attribute when attack power is maximized. Okay, so like I said, I don't know these abilities by heart yet, but I think this is one of those units where it's like once it attacks a certain amount of times, its attack power keeps going up, or it's the more it gets attacked. But I think it's when it attacks. I'm pretty sure that's how that one is used. But yeah, so as its attack power is going to go up, its attribute advantage is also going to go up. So pretty unique there. We haven't seen anything like that before. All right, and then we got the fire one, Sora Seal, value changed. Ease the standard for the number of attacks increased according to the difference in attack power between target and yourself. Like I said, this is just one of those units I don't know how their ability works. I haven't built it yet. I haven't really used it. And just forget what it does. But yeah, little buff there. Little buff there, I think. Then we got the light one, Anguish of the Underworld passive. Effect added, increases the additional attacks accuracy by 30%. Once again, I don't know what that one does. I might just skip these. And then we got the fire. We got the water, fire, light, Asura, Storm Fist. Value change. It's the first ability, I think, or no, second ability. Value change. Ease the standard for the number of attacks increased according to your attack power. Okay, so just made it so it's going to be easier to make it do the maximum amount of attacks that it can do. But yeah, they all got buffed. That's nice to see. More 4 stars getting buffed. And then real quick, we'll go over the bottom here. Stats of some monsters will be modified. Neostone Fighter Fire stats changed. Basic stats such as HP, attack power, and defense will be adjusted based on Awakened 6-star max level. Before it was this much HP, attack, and defense. Now it's this much. Okay, so it looks like we took away a lot of his defense and we sprinkled it into attack and HP. Which I think they should do stuff like this more often, because there's some units that are like, they say that they're defense type, but their stats show that they should be attack type. This is, I guess, one of those units as well where it had a little bit too much defense, where that should have been in attack and HP. So, yeah, also the Fire Neostone Fighter got a buff. So, looks like it's going to be a lot more useful. You're going to see the Fire Neostone Fighter a lot more. And very nice. And then they also did a similar change to the Dark Neostone Fighter. Let's see. It looks like, yeah, pretty much the same. It took away the defense and put it into attack. Put it all into attack. So the HP stayed completely the same here. And now just does more damage. Has a higher, the higher the base attack, the more that percentages matter on that specific unit. If you guys don't know how percentages work, I'm sure most of you already do, but yeah, that's what that does. If you don't understand why that's significant or not, those are pretty big changes to those units. Just makes them hit way harder, makes them be able to be built a lot easier for what they should be built for. All right, and then we have the leader skills of some monsters will be added. So we got mermaids. Every single mermaid here now has a new leader skill. Okay, so the water one has resistance of all ally monsters by 30%. Fire one has the attack speed of all ally monsters and guild content by 24%. Okay, so we know already any 4 stars that get a 24% guild leader a speed guild leader increase, it's going to be useful now. You're going to be seeing this thing everywhere. So, yeah, the fire one is now Guild War meta. And then we got the wind one, increase the accuracy of ally monsters by 30%. Usually you pair this one with something with a speed leader anyway, so I don't know. But what's nice about this one specifically and the resistance one is that it can be used anywhere. So it's important to also pay attention to that. Like this one's only used for Guild Wars. These two are used for, actually these 3. The next one is also used anywhere. Light Mermaid will now have a defense leader skill. And then we have the dark one, which can only be used in guild content as well. It's HP by 33%. Nice little buffs there for the mermaids. Little leader skill buffs. Very nice. And then lastly, we have just a Beast Monk skill error. But yeah, that'll do it for this balance patch. I know we skipped a couple here. You guys can let me know which one of these you think are significant, if you have been trying these out at all, or if you have any of these built and you think that these buffs are going to be pretty significant for those units. Definitely let us know down in the comments. And let us know what your overall rating and score of this balance patch is. I'm going to give it a... I think I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10. Nothing crazy, you know. It wasn't the worst thing in the world. I've seen worse, but also nothing too significant, nothing too game-changing, I don't think. But also, you never know. Sometimes these balance patches come out, and it looks like nothing significant happened, and then somebody figures out that, okay, this little buff here is actually a game changer. So we'll see what happens. 5 out of 10 is my score. Let me know what your score is in the comments below, and I will see you guys in the next one.